Hi, Jane. Welcome.
Hi, Renee.
Thank you for hanging tight in the queue
Oh,
there as we
sure.
navigated.
No problem.
I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank
This,
you.
this is your, from what I understand, your first feature documentary film. Is this
It
true? Tell
is.
us about your film, what it feels like to be in this community at the festival here.
Sure. Well, it's first of all, thank you for taking the time today, and it's just an honor to have been chosen. Our film is called Saffron Robe. It's a full feature documentary, and we're just so excited. I'm the director and producer and writer, and I have a partner. She is also. Um, so excited about this, having been a producer and writer on the project as well. And so we're so happy to be involved in a film festival that really highlights and features women filmmakers. Um, it's
Yeah.
just, it's just great to be part of this community.
Well, we're glad you're here. I'm curious if you'll talk to us a little bit more. From what I understand, this is the story of a Buddhist monk that builds a school in a communist country. I'm curious, what was your pull to this subject?
Right.
What made you feel like you were the right person to tell this story?
Well, I wondered about that myself. I actually, about a dozen years ago, took a trip to Laos, and I was introduced to this world of Theravada Buddhism, and
Mm,
particularly this Lao monk who is on this incredible mission. You might say almost Herculean effort to try to open a school and run a school for young novices. So it's only a school for boys.
okay.
But it was very interesting being both a female director and a female producer that we were sort of steeped into this world of a very male world. It's all the monks, of course, are male. All the students and novices at his school are young boys, and
Wow.
so we sort of had an interesting perspective coming in as women, which they don't have too many around on that at that school. They were all more curious about us, I think, than we were about them. But we just were so privileged and honored to be sort of led into this very kind of small circle of a community there. Not too many people go to Laos, particularly from the West. I think we as Americans don't know much about Laos, and yet our country had a huge impact on Laos during the Vietnam War. And
Wow.
we left a lot of scars there during what was called the Secret War. And this Abbott, our story, is part of that. It's about this country coming out of these very dark years of war and revolution, and his effort to bring bring some of the traditions back that were being lost because of the fallout of the war and a new communist regime. So.
Wow. Was there a moment during production that kind of surprised you or shifted how you continued to tell this story?
Yes, we were always kind of on guard because we went into Laos, which, as I said, is a communist country, without necessarily a filming permit. We had been invited to come
Mhm.
and film the abbot in his school, but we had challenges getting the government approval, and so we chose just to sort of wing it really and go in and see how much we could get done and how far we could go with this story. And so everything was a little bit of an obstacle, and just working within a culture that was so different than ours. But their customs, their traditions, of course,
Mm.
their language is all so different from the West and from America. And yet we sort of had to learn how to take it really, truly one day at a time, which is very
Mm.
much part of the Buddhist philosophy in terms of just being open to whatever might, come next. And of course, as a documentary, you sort of turn on the camera and see what happens. We
Yeah.
couldn't really script much at all.
That's so interesting to me. I feel like each film that I've watched and each filmmaker that I interview, there seems to be like a creative heartbeat to everybody's vision in their film. And I'm wondering if you'll talk to us about what you feel like the emotional center of this film is for you and for your
Mhm,
audiences,
mhm.
or what it will impart on you.
Right, right. Well, I think our main character, this Buddhist monk, who's actually a very important abbot in northern Laos, and he's very well respected, and he really is sort of the heartbeat of the film. And it's his relationships with the young officers that he's doing whatever he can to educate them, because otherwise they wouldn't. They're from very poor villages in the mountains, and they wouldn't otherwise really be able to receive an education. And so his effort is just it's just incredible to watch, and yet he does it with such dignity and grace. And I think I was just so moved by that effort to try to this effort at education and the idea that it can uplift people. You know, I think here in this country we often take education so for granted. Most children, not all, but most children have access to a good, if not a great education, and they don't have that opportunity there. And he is doing what he can, with or without the government's approval, to try to educate children. I think he doesn't expect so much to ordain these young children as monks later. Most of them, in fact, will leave the temple life, the monastic life. But I think there's this idea that through education, he can uplift his people, and the more they're educated, the more they can perhaps think for themselves and see what happens to the future of their country. It really is a story about hope, you know, hope for a country that's been in dark years for a long time.
Oh, well, I'm so excited to see it. I haven't had the opportunity to see a lot of the feature films, as I've had so many filmmakers to interview, but I am going to see it at the festival, and I want to make sure
I hope so.
See it at the festival. So if you'll let us know when it is screening at La Femme, and then also we have a clip, so I want to make sure we get to that clip, and just a little bit about how we can follow you and continue to support you.
Great. Sure. Yes, Saffron Robe plays at La Femme International Film Festival, and we screen Friday, October 17th at 2 p.m. And we have a great website at saffronfilm.com, as well as Instagram, saffronrobefilm.com. And you can follow us along our journey that we're taking through La Femme and other festivals. It's been really exciting.
I'm excited to see it. Thank you, Jane, for joining us.
Thank you, Renee.
You got it. And audience, let's stay on board here. Don't take a pee break yet. Let's join me and seeing
watch the trailer. It's great.
Yes, exactly. I know we're rolling up right at the end of the hour, but I want to make sure that people
get to see it. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Saffron Robe.
มันก็มีความจำเป็นที่อยากให้ไอ้จวนน้อยให้ลูกศิษย์ลูกหาเห็นหูเพื่อสืบทอด
ถ้าทุกอย่างนี้เพิ่นจะส่งเสริมเรื่องการศึกษาเนาะดีเป็นส่งเสริมบ่มีปุ่มบ่มีนั่นเพิ่นได้มีกระดาษถ้าเตียมาเขียนหนังสือแล้วบ่มีจะไปลบเห็นหนังสือพิมพ์ตกเก็บมาอ่านไปเทศโตชอบโตนะผมเว้าฟังซ่อนฮอดเงินฮอดดาวพุ่นน่ะซ่อนอยู่ในเฮานี่แหละ
คนสำคัญในเฮาจริงใจเฮ็ดจริงใจทำจริงใจช่วยเพิ่น
ด้วย